in Australia, and welcome to my weekly online class to go. So for those who aren't familiar with the weekly class, each week I do a live video featuring one stamp and die bundle or Stamp and Punch bundle, and if you spend $75 or more before shipping and after any Stamp and Rewards redemption in my store before the end of Saturday night, then I will send you the kits to make two each of the 3 designs from each week. So this week's bundle is the Jolly Holly bundle, and I'll just switch my camera around. So these are the 3 cards for this week, and so this is the stamp set from the bundle, and this bundle has a hybrid embossing folder with it. So if you get the bundle, you get the stamp set, you get the embossing folder, and then you also get the dies to go with it. So you've got this large one you can use with the embossing folder, so it sort of does partial cutouts of the holly pieces. You've got the individual stamps, so the bells, flowers, the holly, and the joy sentiment, and then got the greenery as well, and some label dies as well. So let me just move these out of the way for the moment. So we're going to start with this card first. So this one is a Real Red card base, and then I've used the two-tone cardstock for the embossing. So I've used the darker side. I'm going to sand that a little, and then we've got the basic white for the insert, a couple of label die cuts for the sentiment, and then I've already coloured the 2 holly images that we're going to use. So I just used Real Red and Shaded Spruce, the light and dark, for this one, because we don't have Garden Green in the blends. But this one is Garden Green two-tone. So we will, and I'll just, before I forget, grab out my ribbon because I'll need that for later. So the only other thing you will need is some sort of sanding block, or you can use nail file, anything that you can use to just lightly sand the cardstock. So I'm just going to focus mainly on the berries and the little white, the little sort of specks, as well as sort of the edges of the holly leaves as well. But the berries and the white specks are the main parts that I want to sand. So we just want to have some of that white showing through. Just want to get some of the edges of the leaves as well. Just makes it look like it's sort of snow dusted leaves. So we'll just try and get some of that, but don't need to go over the top. I think that's probably just about enough. That should do it. Alright, so we'll just clean that surface a bit, and then, and I think I've moved the blends. I'll be back in just a sec. Just grabbing some blends. I'm just going to grab them all because well, all the ones that I put back in the tub. So I'm going with the dark real red for this one, and all we want to do is just colour in the little berries, which is why I wanted to focus on those with the sanding so that the white comes through, and then we can just add a little bit of colour to those. Nearly there. Couple more. You don't have to go too fancy, just pretty rough. Doesn't need to be perfect. So that should do it. And then before I stick that down, I need to make sure I remember. That's why I got the ribbon out and I got the wrong one. But that is why needed the ribbon, so I remember to put some on before I stick it down. So I'm just going to cut a piece to wrap around and add some tear and tape to the back so that I can stick it down. And a couple more pieces on the ends, and maybe try and straighten this one up a little bit. That's better. And once I find the end, there it is. Add a bit more over here. So then we'll just take the backings off, stick it down. One day I'll clean up all the tape and dimensional backings that are piling up on the floor behind me. So stick that down. There we go. And then we can adhere that to the front. I'm going to use the green glue because it does stick a little better with the embossed cardstock. It's a little bit easier and it gets into all the little crevices. Okay, so that goes down. Okay, and then we should do the sentiment. So just on the basic white piece using real red ink. And I'm just using the Bright and Happy Wishes, or Bright and Happy Christmas Wishes. Hi Dimity, nice to see you. Ooh, try not to get ink all over my fingers. And I'm just going to double check that that's actually inked up enough. Maybe not all over the block. Alrighty, so try and, it's a tight fit in there, but it does fit Okay, and move those out of the way. Then we're just going to adhere this one. So we'll, once I manage to pick it up, adhere this one flat to the real red piece, and then we'll pop that red piece, the larger red piece, up on dimensionals. Yep. And we'll just straighten it up a little bit. There we go. Alrighty, so get some dimensionals out. And while I think of it, while I'm adding all these dimensionals and then take the backings off, for anyone who wants to watch any of the old lives, needs to go back and watch any of the videos, all of them are available on YouTube. So the Facebook ones, because they're live videos, they are deleted after 30 days, but everything is also streamed to YouTube, so it's all available on YouTube. So if you need to go back and watch any of them, they are all there, as well as all the other videos I do, including the technique video I did last Thursday. So that is up there, and the recipe card that goes with that technique video will be coming out, or will be added to my weekly email tomorrow. So if you're on my email list, you will get both the 12 weeks of Christmas video and tutorial, and then the recipe card for the technique video, my Thursday Tech series, so that you'll get two PDFs in tomorrow's email. And if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, that would really help me out. And if you're not on my email list, you should head over to my blog at handmadeafterdark.com.au and sign up to my email list, and then you'll get all the tutorials and project recipes and everything else that I send out, all the class details, all the good stuff. Alrighty, so we're just going to pop these up on dimensionals. So just one in each corner, and then all we need to do is add a bow. So I'm going to tie a bow from the same shiny real red ribbon. And then we will stick that on. That looks good enough, I think. Cut the ends. Alrighty. Let's get that one down. That one's a bit, no, I might need to shorten that one. That one's a little bit longer than the other side. So right, there go, that's better. Alright, so I'll just use a glue dot to hold that down. And then we just need to embellish, so I'm using these are actually the cherry cobbler and actually no, these aren't the ones I'm using for this one. Wrong ones, no, sorry, I'm using the faceted snowflakes. These are the ones I want. Alright, so just grab, I'm going to go with a few of the big ones. And another one over there. Then we should add the inserts. Just move everything out of the way. Alrighty, let's get this down. And there we go. That's the first one done. I'm just going to slightly adjust that one so it's a bit longer. There we go. Alrighty, that is the first one done. And then second one is this one. So this one is a cherry cobbler base. So just get that out. Alrighty, and then go with that one. We have some, got the basic white for the insert, of course. I've got some embossed basic white. I've embossed with the Birchwood embossing folder. The Regals DSP. So it's the one of the garden green pieces. Some cherry cobbler cardstock, basic white, textured notes label, 3 basic white circles from the Spotlight on Nature dies, and then I've pre-colored the 3 bells. Now for the bells, I have used Darling Duckling, but I thought I would show you, I did, because I couldn't decide initially, I did, and I'll zoom in, just, and I, oh, wrong, oh, it's going the wrong way, there we go. Oi. It is being a little bit weird, sorry. Going all over the place. I'm trying to zoom in and then it's not liking it. Just have to go extra slow. Otherwise you see all the mess all over my desk and beyond. Alright, so I did 3 samples. So Darling Duckling, which is the one I went with, and then Lemon Lolly and Daffodil Delight. So depending on what you have and your preference as to the color, any of these will work. So if you don't have Darling Duckling but you've got Daffodil Delight or Lemon Lolly, use one of those. They all work, they're just different tones, and you can mix and match as well. These are just the 3 that I tried and then decided on. So I just thought I'd show you those for anyone who doesn't have Darling Duckling or isn't a huge fan of it and wants something slightly different. Now let me, my camera is misbehaving a little. All right, hopefully that will suffice. All right, hopefully it's not going to keep moving around. I'm just going to zoom out, well, try and zoom out without it going too far, just so you've got a decent view. It's, there we go, come on. Just want to make sure I've got enough space that I'm not going to be out of camera view half the time. All right, let's actually do the stamping first. So I'll just grab my scrap paper. So I used the Merry and the Christmas. So I did play around with putting them both on the same block and doing it together, but I couldn't quite get them in the right position that I wanted on the same block at the same time. So we are going with doing them separately. I always try to put them both on together if I can, so I'm just stamping once, and so I'm more so that I'm, you know, once I've got the alignment right, I'm not having to get the alignment right twice, just the once. But it didn't quite work for this one, so that's okay. So the Merry, we're going up the top towards the right, and then the Christmas, yeah, just gonna try and line that up. There we go. All right, so I will put that to the side for the moment. Let's put the rest of this together. So the birch wood, so I'll use the green glue for this one. Okay. And then this one, we're just going straight across the middle. Okay. Okay, and then we're gonna line these up first. So the circles I'm going to stick straight down, and then we'll pop up the bells on dimensionals. So I'm just going to get these lined up. So I just want roughly even spacing in between. I think that looks pretty good. That one in the middle. Find it can be, when you're sticking them down, it can be better to start with the middle one and then you can adjust the others to make sure they fit if you happen to sort of not quite get it exactly where you were intending and it's a little bit out. You can then just adjust either side so that you've got even or roughly even spacing. Alrighty. And the last one. Okay. And seeing as I've got the glue out, we may as well adhere this one to the cherry cobbler. If I can pick it up, would be helpful. There we go. That's pretty good. All right, so these are all going up on dimensionals now. Once I find my minis, which disappeared. There they are. All right, so let's get these ones down. Probably should just go with one long strip. Really, it would probably be a lot quicker. Alright, and get these ones up. I feel like I need some on hold music while I'm doing this. Keep you entertained rather than just watching me stick dimensionals down and take the backings off, make a mess on the floor. So while I think of it, so as mentioned earlier, the technique Thursday Tech series and the technique videos, and there is also Funfold Friday, which I do. If anyone has any techniques or fun folds that they would like to see, that they would like videos for, please let me know and I can add them to my list of techniques to cover, because if there are ones in particular that people really want to see, then I'm more than happy to do that. And sometimes there might be ones that I might think, oh, no one wants to see that, but people actually do. So please tell me if there are techniques or fun folds that you'd like to see. And I'll see what I can come up with. Alrighty. Nearly there. Alright, so actually I'll do, once we get this down, I'll do the insert, just because the last thing you need to do aside from the embellishments is Wink of Stella, so I'll do this first, just so that I'm not flipping the card over while the Wink of Stella is still a bit wet. So let's get this down. And we'll flip this over. So, Wink of Stella, and just gonna colour the bells. Don't have to do anything fancy, doesn't have to be too exact, just add a little bit of sparkle. To the bells, give them a bit of shimmer. Not sure how well you can actually see that on camera, but it is there. Alrighty, then we just need to add some embellishments, and for this one I'm just using the basic rhinestones. So I've got another open packet here. I have quite a few packets of these all over the place. And some of these are probably, oops, apart from trying to escape. Where we're going to go down there, and one more, and oops, and we'll go there. Oops, wrong one. Put the right lid back on. Alrighty, there we go. There is the second card. So move those out of the way and bring the final one in. So this one is Pretty Peacock, and I've used the Jolly Holly embossing folder, but just on white for this one. So let me find my kit. So we have the embossed white, basic white for the inserts, stylish shapes die cuts, and then two of the Regal Distressed DSP squares and basic white. With the DSP, if you're if you're making you're copying this at home and say using a different cardstock, a different designer series paper, just be mindful of the direction of the pattern, because we are going to be putting them on an angle, so they're going to be diamond rather than square. So depending on the design, I did debate for quite a while with this one whether to use a different paper or not, but it works okay, even though it's not quite, doesn't quite sit in the direction I want, but it was close enough that it does work. But for some designs it may not, so just be mindful of that before you start cutting, and just make sure that it is going to work for you. Thank you, Dimity. I'm glad you like them. I do like this bundle. It's been a lot of fun to play with. Now, sentiment. Yes, let's do that. So remember, when you are stamping this one, to turn it so it is in diamond shape, and Pretty Peacock ink. So I'm using the larger sentiment, may the spirit of the season bring you hope, happiness and love. So that's the one we're going with. Of course, if you don't have this set, just use something you have that you like and that is an appropriate size and will fit. And I keep forgetting I do need to re-ink my Pretty Peacock. Really should just go and get the ink out once I finish and actually do it, instead of every time I use it saying I need to re-ink. It's a little higher than I wanted. I'm going to flip it over and try again. Let's see. It's one of the good things about cardstock. You have two sides, so you can always try again. Unless you're coloured with blends, then you can't, because they go through. That looks better. And I am going to stick this one down before I forget and accidentally put glue on the wrong side. Wouldn't be the first time. Dimity, I have lost count of the number of times I've either had no interest in a set or thought, nah, don't like it, and then someone has made something that is like, oh, I have to have that. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to buy that right now. I really like that. Too many times. Too many times. But sometimes it's just, it's the projects. You might see it in the catalogue or online, and the projects may not be quite to your liking, so there's, when it's first available, there's limited projects to look at, and so you think, nah. And then once people start using it and coming up with all sorts of different projects, and you start to see all the different possibilities of a set and how much better it is than what you first thought, and then it just makes your shopping list bigger and bigger, because you're like, oh, well, I have to buy that now. Oh, and that one. Oh, and that one too. Far too many times. But we all do it. What falls in the cart stays in the cart. It's amazing how much stuff falls in while you're looking. Connie and Terry know exactly what I'm talking about. But they are at backstage at the moment. having a lot of fun and I'm very jealous. One day I'll get there. One day. Alrighty, so once we have all of these stuck down, we are just going to line these up so these will overlap. You just want the point of one end, so top and bottom, so they will overlap, and then so we'll stick those down, and then this one we will stick over the top, but we'll pop that one up on dimensionals. These ones will just stick down with the green glue, otherwise the card will end up a little bit too thick, particularly if you need to post it. Just be mindful of which way you want the pattern of the DSP to show, and we'll just move that up a bit. That's a bit too far down. We want it right on the edge. Same with this one, but down the bottom. And which way will I go? Let's go this way. Maybe that way. No, I'm going back this way. Otherwise we'll be here all night while I try and decide between the two. Yes, I know the feeling, Dimity. I have ended up with more than what I was originally intending. I had my original list, and so I got all of those, and then there were ones that were, I like it, but I probably won't get it for various reasons. And then I was like, oh, but I need this for this. Oh, and but I need something to do this with, and this will work really well for this. And I've ended up with a few more than I intended, but that's all right. There was actually one that I was going to get and didn't, which is rare. But then I added others that I added more than, added more than I took off, put it that way. But I have used them all, which is good. That is one of the benefits of doing a weekly live and also trying to add additional content like Funfold Friday and Thursday Tech, is that I do use a lot more stuff, and because I'm using for the weekly classes, because I'm using, or at least featuring, a different set every week, I do use more of it, which is good. That does actually make me very happy, because there's nothing worse than you buy it because you love it and you just never get around to using it. So doing more classes, more videos has forced me to use more in a really good way. So, and then it means I can totally justify buying more, because I have to have something different every week. Yes, I absolutely do, Dimity. Yes. You are definitely not alone. Definitely not. Alright, so for the embellishments for this one, and I should do the insert, we'll do that in a sec. I'm using the low profile sparkle dots. So these are really good if if you're posting your project and want to keep the bulk down, because these are a little, well, quite a bit flatter than most of the other embellishments. So really good for things you need to post, particularly if you've already say if it's, you've got parts of it popped up on dimensional, so you've already got a bit of height and you don't want too much more on top of that. So the low profile ones are really good for that. All right, let's add the insert. Thank you, Dimity. I am enjoying doing a lot more. I would love to do even more. I'm trying to do as much as I can. Unfortunately, that pesky little thing called work gets in the way, which is very frustrating because I'd much rather just do this. It would be so much more fun. But I've got to work to pay for all the supplies. And yeah, all the other things that need to be paid for. But I am enjoying doing more content, and I have plans for even more. It's just a matter of how quickly I can get things up and running. Alrighty, there is the final card. Let me bring the others back in. So there is the second one, and there is the first one. So these are this week's 3 cards. Yes, work is a very dirty word. I completely agree with you, Dimity. Absolutely. Great minds think alike. Very much so. All right, so these are the 3 cards for this week. Remember, you have until the end of Saturday night to get your orders in, and I'll send you the kits to make 2 each of the 3 designs. And remember, all of my videos are available on YouTube as well. So if you want to head over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel as well, that would really help me out. And remember, if you're not on my email list, if you sign up at my blog, which is handmadeafterdark.com.au, then you'll get all the tutorials and recipe cards that I sent out, as well as all the class details and any upcoming specials and offers and all the rest of it that come out. Alrighty, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the projects. I hope you have a go at them yourself, whether you're getting the kits or just creating your own designs. Until next